In progress.
Listen to my podcast about sports, about sports, about sports.
My podcast about sports. Specifically, what sports? Aggie football, Corey.
Hell yeah.
It's been a minute.
Well, we've been on a little sabbatical.
You know, just for the people to know out there, as it turns out, we got other shit going on, I guess. I don't know.
Well, we've been celebrating since Jimbo got fired.
Yeah, I've basically been drunk celebrating Jimbo's firing for the last month. And
a little bit of a bender.
I don't know if you can tell, but I'm feeling the hangover of that effect.
You look great.
I always look great.
Yeah.
I'm in my prime.
Yeah.
So Corey, we're gonna get right into it, man.
Let's do it.
Today's episode brought to you by Ags Tailgate.
There you go.
Providers of the best Aggie football talk. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And on that note, so look, since we last been on, I mean, obviously we finished the season and the Aggies have gone with a new head coach. Yep. His name is somebody that is probably familiar to you, Mr. Mike Elko.
Hold on a second. I thought it was Stoops.
Well, you know, there was a second when it was Stoops, but Stoops was really a way for the administration to just kind of make sure that everybody was on board with the Mike Elko or hiring. So
they're like Stoops. I was like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah.
Which I'll be honest, if it was Stoops, I'd have been like, okay, he's done a lot with not much, you know.
No. The entirety of A&M's fan base, 100%, absolutely said no to Stoops, and would have been very upset with the hiring of Stoops. It was very strategic announcement though on the part of the A&M, faithful and the administration. You know, they sit in there and they say, hey, we're going to hire Mike Stoops, knowing full well that they're not, but understanding also the fact that every Aggie football fan on the planet is going to hate that announcement. And when it goes sideways and then announce like 12 hours later that Mike Elko is the coach, the entirety of the fan base is now like just relieved and happy at the fact that it's not Stoops. So, I mean, you basically could have announced Charlie Brown or freaking whoever after you announced Stoops, and you'd have looked great.
Yeah. So where was Elko on your list?
Elko was on the list. How about that? He was on the list. I myself am a guy that believes that Elko is I mean, he's a good coach. He just I'm not sure I'm not sure he's ready for this job. I'm not sure he's the guy to get this team, specifically the Texas A&M football Aggies, this team over the hump. I don't know that I have that kind of faith in him. But look, I'm behind it now, right? I mean, the hiring happened. He's the guy. And so I am rooting for Mike Elko as hard as anybody can possibly root for another man.
I agree with you. He's got an uphill battle, man. It's the transfer portal, coaches.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, Corey. I mean, uphill battle because of that, or is he actually in a good place because of that? I mean, why is it that that's an uphill battle? Every other school in the country is doing the same thing, and they're doing it without the resources of Mike Elko, right? And Mike Elko
understand what you're saying.
The resources of Texas A&M sitting next to him. Go get whatever it is you want. You can go get it.
No, it's not that. It's just the expectations. The Aggies are so high. He just came from a place at Duke where he did a great job. But It's a basketball school. Nobody there gave a shit about the football program. I don't even know
Exactly.
if they still do. Elko leaves are like, okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna suck again. Yeah. He did a
Yeah.
great job there. 3-star players, maybe a couple 4 stars. Here, he's gonna have plenty of talent, but he's going up against. I mean, he played against the ACC that couldn't even get an undefeated team into the college playoff.
And my point is that exactly that, though. It's like he is coming from Duke, where I thought he was a great hire, and I thought he freaking did an amazing job. But this isn't Duke.
Exactly.
This is not Duke. And
No.
the kids playing on the field are not the same kids that he had at Duke.
No.
And you know what? The fan base is not the same fan base he had at Duke. And on top of that, the administration, the support, the freaking the facilities, the everything you want to put on there. I mean, it doesn't matter what I say. It is not Duke, right?
No, absolutely right. And that's what I hope. If he comes in with the same attitude that I'm going to coach these players like I did at Duke, that's fine and dandy. But 3-star players want to probably get better. 4 and 5-star players, you got to. A lot of these guys are here for the damn money, and it sucks to say that. That's what it seems like. It seems like we're jumping ship. They're not Aggies. That's what I want. I want some Aggies. I want some guys there that are
That's unreasonable, though, man. That's unreasonable. That is
unreasonable. Why is
it
that
is.
unreasonable? I want people that want
Because
to be coached. Some of these guys don't act like they want to be coached anymore. They act like they're better than that.
no, look, that's not unreasonable. But I don't think that the thought process of, hey, I want these guys to be like, you know, like me as an Aggie, right? I mean, the idea that they are like that. I mean, the fact of the matter is, dude, that the school is using them much more than them are using the school, right? I mean,
Oh, yeah,
so
absolutely.
no, I understand. Hey, look,
No, I'm happy these guys are getting paid.
it's
I
turned
just hate the
into a
fact
business. It's a
they
business.
need to sign. They need to sign contracts. Basically, it needs to turn it almost to the
They do.
damn NFL, where these
They
guys
do.
sign contracts and they sign like Walter Nolan signs a contract. I'm coming to A&M. I guarantee I'm going to be there for this many years. I can't transfer out unless there's a coaching change. Something, there has to be
Right.
stipulations. But that's what it's all going to turn into here in the next few years. Because this transfer portal, I'm not just saying it for Aggies. I'm saying it for all teams. It's out of
Well,
control.
for everybody.
Yeah,
It's
everybody. I mean, you got bowl games coming up. Quarterbacks are transferring before the damn bowl games. I mean, look at Dylan Gabriel over at Oklahoma. He's not playing in his bowl game. He's not going to the NFL getting ready for that. He's just going to another school.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's 100%, and it's tough. It's tough as a fan, right? Because you can't, it's hard to invest into this team and these players, But
It's tough as a betting man. It's tough
huh?
as a betting man that makes to bet on these games because I don't know who the
Oh,
hell
no,
the
no,
quarterback is
it's
for
good for
Oklahoma
the
here.
betting, man, because a lot of things happen from this year to next year for you to be able to try to find some good nuggets.
Yeah,
Nuggets.
good nuggets.
Uh, Look, getting back to Elko, right? So, look, once again, I do think that it's not a bad hire, right? It actually is a good hire, and I was sort of poking fun earlier with regards to the whole Stoops thing, but it's much better than Stoops, and at least there's hope with Elko, right? So the one thing that has happened since we've last been on is that this program, this football program, has gone from a situation with Jimbo Fisher as no hope at all to now there's hope.
When is your hope? Is your hope next season
Mike Elko brings hope.
for next year or the year
Yeah,
after? That's what I'm asking.
next year,
Because
right away,
okay,
right away.
I don't think we need to get into that, like what we're going to do next year. But my expectations aren't that high right now. I mean, I have hope. I
Yeah.
have hope
So
we win
so
8 games.
before we get there, and we will get there here in a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about sort of everything else that has changed, right? Let's talk a little bit
Right?
about who has gone and who has come. And as we talk about that, right now the Aggies are sitting here getting ready for a bowl game, and they're coach, their current coach, is Elijah Robinson.
Right.
And their current DC is DJ Durkin.
Yep.
And their current offensive coordinator is one of the guys that was sitting in a booth prior to like this past week.
Who?
Good question.
Yeah.
It's the two analysts. I can't even remember what their names are. But anyway, so like Cheney, I think one's Cheney and the other one I can't remember. But they're co-offensive coordinator. Anyway, so we've got this group of coaches, which, by the way, is likely not going to be here next year.
None of them.
Coaching this football team. Well, we know Elijah Robinson's not going to be here. We know he's going to Syracuse as the defensive coordinator. We know that Elijah Robinson is also looking to, try to bring some players with him, when he goes to Syracuse. So let's go there. I mean, what do you think about this decision to have this staff, specifically Robinson, still here, and sort of in the situation that we find ourselves in college football with free agency, with all this, the NIL and all the transfer stuff? Corey?
Well, I was upset that they didn't go out and give Robinson a job that he wanted, like the DC title at A&M. I think that would have made this transition with Elko a hell of a lot easier, keeping a lot of players on board, help the recruiting, not just the players that were already on board, but the recruits that are coming in.
Yeah.
And now that they didn't do that, and he took the job at Syracuse, and you hear rumors or whatever that he's out recruiting players that Aggies were going after wearing Syracuse stuff, while he's still coaching A&M right now. It's shocking. It's very shocking. I've been in business for a long time, and this is something that you wouldn't do. I would not do that. If a guy takes another job, sometimes they work there 2 weeks. Other times you're like, hey, appreciate what you've done, but go ahead and don't let that door hit you, because
Don't let the
that's
door
not good.
hit you where the Lord split you.
Exactly. So that's what I mean. That's the thing. I like Robinson. I'm not mad at him. I know he's doing the best for himself. But and like Durkin, is he the hell? Why is he still here? If this bowl game's gonna be a big freaking joke.
The fact is,
it's a joke.
Durkin is likely. I'm hoping he's only here until the bowl game. I'm hoping that he is no longer here after the bowl game. That is my hope. However, that is not necessarily a for sure thing, right? Mike Elko could hand him the reins, as crazy as that sounds.
My opinion of Elko will go way down if he does that.
Right.
So, way down.
But you're right. I mean, in that sense, for Durkin, smirking Durkin, then sort of what's his sort of, motivation to be great in this bowl game, right? I mean, I would say it's very little motivation.
Yeah.
Right. But I'll say this, and let me go back to Elijah Robinson, because I think this is a big deal. I do think this is a big deal, and I think this is a big deal not for the same reasons that everybody else is sort of saying that this is a big deal. I don't blame, I don't look down upon or judge Coach Robinson, because of the fact of what he's doing right now with, trying to get guys out of the portal and into Syracuse and whatever. I don't judge him for that. I don't think that he's doing anything wrong there. He's taking a job at Syracuse, man. His next priority, and every priority he should have right now, is towards Syracuse. I have a problem with the fact that this organization and the Texas A&M football family and their administration kind of screwed the pooch on this deal. And they screwed the pooch because of the fact that, one, they didn't offer him the defensive coordinator job to start. That's to start. That's a guy that clearly, everybody in the locker room has incredible respect for. You would have immediately garnered the approval of the players and the folks there. Not to mention, he's one of the guys that's recruited damn near every player on this roster, right? Including the incoming class for 2024. Right. And by the way, the defensive line has been probably the best performing, unit on this team over the last couple of years. I mean, those guys have been, they have been great. So why? I mean, it's a guy that's been with your program, that used to coach with Elko, that has been coaching your defensive line since, Jimbo showed up. I mean, and has recruited and been responsible for all these incredible recruiting classes. Like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here?
I don't get it, because people like us from the outside looking at it can see it's like a no-brainer. But why can't they see that at A&M? Why can't I'm not saying Elko or the administration? Why can't they
Elko
see
has
this?
got no. I think that 100%. It has to be Elko, and Elko has to be on at the point where he said, "I don't want to hire him as my defensive coordinator." I think that has to have been the case. And okay, I could almost understand that. Let me say that again. I don't understand it either way, but you could almost then think, well, hell, he's got somebody in mind. He's given this job to somebody. But as we sit here today, we still haven't hired a defensive coordinator. And so he doesn't even have somebody in mind that he's like, well, no, this is the guy that I'm giving this job to over Elijah Robinson. He's just saying, I'm not giving this job to Elijah Robinson. And so why would Robinson not leave? Like, after that showing of disrespect, after that slap in the face, why would he not leave? And why would he not try to take some of the best talent in the country with him?
Exactly. No, I agree with you.
The one thing where they didn't screw it up is the fact of the matter is our players don't want to go to Syracuse. So we are actually not in danger of actually losing any players to Elijah Robinson and Syracuse.
Fidel Diggs.
He's not going to Syracuse. Sorry.
It's on his list.
Yeah. He'll be at Alabama next year. Don't worry. Look, that's the whole thing. Any player that's actually starting on this freaking football team next year, not going to Syracuse. Not going to do it.
No.
You know why? Because one, it's like -7 degrees in Syracuse right now. -7 degrees. And you know who likes -7 degrees? Nobody.
But they play in a dome. They'll be fine. It'll be nice and toasty.
Listen, people know New York. People don't know that Syracuse is a place in New York.
True.
So no, nobody is going to Syracuse, man. And you know why else nobody's going to Syracuse from this A&M football team? It's because you, Corey Castle, who watches a lot of football, can't tell me the last time you watched Syracuse play football on TV.
I watched them this year because I bet on them or against them, and that's the only reason. But they are terrible.
The Syracuse alumni don't watch Syracuse play football on TV. So there you go.
And so what moving on, what are we doing? So what's our next step? So we talked about this in the transfer portal. What's in the bowl game? What's going to happen in this bowl game? What are you expecting to see?
I'm excited for the bowl game. I really am. I because you know me, Corey. I'm excited for every freaking football game we can watch the Aggies play.
There's just so many damn games.
I'm excited for this bowl game. So because it's Aggie football, period. And it's Aggie football without Jimbo Fisher, even better. Like, this is my dream scenario. Love it.
Well, we watched the Aggies play without Jimbo the last couple of games of the season, and they seem more competitive. They seem more relaxed, if that's the word. We should have played a better second half against LSU, but hey, that's what it is.
Hey, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I am excited for this bowl game. I'm excited for this bowl game like I was for the bowl game 2 years ago, which jackass Jimbo Fisher decided not to go fucking play. Sorry for my language. Excuse my language. I am excited for this bowl game. It's going to be our first bowl game in 3 years.
That's right. We didn't do that one. We didn't even go to that one 2 years ago, did we?
Right. And so what, and we got a lot more to talk about with regards to what's going on as far as transaction wise, but going to this bowl game, I'm excited to see what we do offensively with Jimbo gone, with a month to prepare, and sort of what happens there, right? I want to see how the quarterbacks play. I want to see
who plays. I want to see who plays. I don't even know who's going to show up.
Yeah, who's going to be on the field? What's our defense going to look like? Because I think
Cooper's
2/3 of the starting defense from this year's gone.
Right? Yeah. Jackson's not going to play. Cooper's not playing. Nolan's gone.
Walter Nolan's in this transfer portal. Fidel Diggs is gone. Chappelle's gone. Harmon gone.
Gilbert.
Number 20, Gilbert, gone to LSU, by the way.
Did he really?
I don't know. Is Damani gone? I don't know. Damani?
No, I think he'd be one to play.
So yeah,
do you want Damani to play? Do you want Damani to play?
I think he should sit out, prepare for the NFL, man. Good on Damani.
Okay, if you're a betting man, who would you take in this Aggie Oklahoma State game? If it's basically a 3-point spread, I think the Aggies are favored.
I am taking Oklahoma State.
I would too.
And honestly, I'm taking Oklahoma State not because of the fact that they are going to be the more talented team or whatever. I'm taking Oklahoma State because they got the continuity right now, right? Like, there's no distractions. There's no distractions for them. You don't have coaches competing, looking out for jobs and whatever. You don't have players trying to go wherever. They've got their team. They've got their coaches. They know where they've been. They know where they're going, right? And this team, the Aggie football team, is completely on the opposite side of that, right? There's just too much going on in the peripherals to really have this team well prepared, in my opinion, for the bowl game. And if they do, by the way, if they do win this game, that'd be impressive for this football staff.
I agree, but I don't see it happening.
So we sort of just maybe glossed over it a little bit, right? But Mike Elko has hired an offensive coordinator. He did hire an offensive coordinator. Colin Klein from Kansas State. Colin Klein.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, tell me, what do you think?
I like it a lot. I like it a whole lot. I'm really excited about Colin Klein. He's like a Mike Elko disciple, somebody that's been somewhere doing something with nothing. He gets these players that you don't know who they are, and he turns them in. He gets them in the NFL.
Yeah.
Who's that little Vaughn running back? That guy was at A&M. I don't know if he.
Yeah, he's not doing anything in the NFL, but he's there.
He got there. But I'm saying, would he have been a player at A&M? He might have been too small. He might have, or they have played to his strengths. He seems like a kind of offensive coordinator, the type of coach that's going to play to his strengths and say, hey, I don't have a quarterback with a big arm that's going to throw the ball 80 times.
That's where my question comes in. And that really is where my question comes in. I don't know whether he's going to play to his strengths or he's just going to play to what he plays. Because at Kansas State, like you said, he did a lot with a little, mind you. He definitely had an exceptional offense especially for the talent that they were recruiting, and he did a good job there. But they were very much about the quarterback run, right? The quarterback run is a staple in what they did all the time. As a matter of fact, this year, their freaking, fourth year quarterback, they were pulling him off the field in order to put a freshman who is more athletic in to run the freaking football. And so, it is purposeful, right? This is what he does. Now, mind you, look, it'll be great to actually see some innovation as far as formations and motions and things, because he's going to bring that, right? They do
Right.
a lot of different things when it comes to that section of play calling, right? A lot of misdirection, a lot of motions, a lot of
Wildcat, a lot of stuff that you don't. It's out of the norm. Yeah.
yeah, and so that's going to be good. But once again, we've got Connor Wigman as our quarterback. And if Connor Wigman is your quarterback, do you necessarily want him running all the time, or do you want him distributing to your guys?
Yeah, you want him
And
distributing. That's what I think. I
and is
think that
Colin
he's going
Klein
to
going to
realize
do that, right? So is he going to change?
he's going to run a more conventional offense that's dated. He's going to run more pick plays to get the receivers open. He's going to find the weakness of a defense and exploit that. He's not going to say, this is what we're going to do just because we do it. We're going to find weaknesses to other people's defense. You know, if they're bringing 8 men in the box, we're going to find a way to get the ball out quick.
Well,
Expect our offensive.
you would hope that's true. You would hope that's true.
Yeah,
But
well, it is.
you know what? He played at Kansas State. When he was a quarterback at Kansas State, he was a running quarterback at Kansas State, and he did those
Yeah.
things. And when he coached at Kansas State, his they ran the football with a quarterback, and that's part of their game plan. And so now it's what he's always done, not only as a player, but as a coach, player and coach. And so, what is the certainty that he's going to turn away from that? What? How are you so certain?
I'm not certain. I feel pretty confident that he will, though. I think he's going to play to his strengths. I think he's going to say, hey, we don't want Connor to get hurt again. He got hurt this year. We've gone through 3 quarterbacks the last 2 or 3 years.
Jimbo?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I expect a totally different look offense next year with Jimbo being gone. No offense to Petrino, but that was still Jimbo's offense. Um, I'm pretty sure
Bobby's
Petrino.
right now is telling everybody that could listen, "Oh no, my God, that was not my fault." But fuck Bobby. Pardon my French again. I'm getting out of control.
You are, man. Bless your heart.
But screw Bobby. Bobby's full of it, man. Bobby's full of it. He came over here, he took the money, and he called the plays, and now he doesn't want to take any responsibility for the fact that that offense was not good. Sorry.
No, it was not good.
But go ahead.
I got tired of seeing the same offense on the field every week in, week out, same play calling. It wasn't dynamic enough for the talent we had. We had a terrible offensive line the last few years, and we knew it, and we still ran the same plays and let our quarterbacks get beat up.
Look, hey, I don't think either one of us is going to say that Colin Klein's not going to be an improvement. And I think we both kind of like the hire, right? I mean, I just don't know. I have a question about whether he's going to continue that approach, and if so, is Connor the guy that's going to run that offense, or is it maybe somebody else?
Well, I don't know how many quarterbacks Kansas State's gotten in the NFL recently. So
Colin
that
Klein,
would be,
I think, played a couple of seconds.
okay. Well, is he a pro quarterback from what you've seen at Kansas State?
Right now, he's a transfer portal quarterback, I think.
There you go. Connor Wegman has the tools to be an NFL quarterback. And if I'm Connor Wegman, and if he's going to make me a quarterback like Will Howard, where I have to run the ball a lot, and I'm going to put I wouldn't stay here. It's too easy to get out and to get into a system at the University of Washington or Oklahoma or USC that they're going to let me showcase my talents. And that's what we need to learn is how to showcase our quarterback's talents. Because I mean, these guys, the USC sucks. They suck. Their defense is terrible.
Yeah.
Quarterback, I mean, the guy got beat up too this year, but he still got the ball out. They still had big plays. And that's one thing Riley can do is score points. He has to because he can't coach defense.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're right, and you know, the fact is that getting these quarterbacks out there, that's the way to go, man. You get the names out there because it brings publicity to the program. It brings
Right.
publicity to the coach, right? Everybody's interested in the big time quarterback. That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah,
Everybody's belief
absolutely.
is, well, if you want to win, you get a big time quarterback. I understand that that's not necessarily true, but that's what people believe, and that's how people approach things. And it's also how the publicity works, right? Which are the programs that are getting the most pub? Well, it's the ones with big time quarterbacks. Go look around. Michael Penix and what's his name at Oregon? Bo Nix at Oregon. And those guys all year long, people were talking about him. Like you said, Caleb Williams at USC, even at TU with
Viewers.
viewers, right? And people are all over that guy in spite of his inconsistent play, right?
And I
And
put Wegman right up there with those guys. He had great stats before he got hurt. But I think Wegman, talent wise, I think he's as good or better than Penix. Bo Nix, he's right there with that guy. All he needs is more time. Bo Nix has been on the field for 6 or 7 years now in college.
hey,
You
Jalen
know,
Daniels, right down the road over at LSU.
Jalen Daniels has a little bit more dynamic to him with his legs. Wegman can do that, but I don't think he's anywhere on the level with
Yeah, I
Jalen
mean,
Daniels.
no, absolutely. His legs were a big part of what but I was just talking generally as
Yeah,
the production from a quarterback, right? I mean, those
yeah,
guys
but
are
I mean, I wouldn't
big time.
trade Connor Wegman for anything. I'd put him right up there as a top tier quarterback. Probably one of the 20 best in college football. If I had to,
I fully agree. And look, I think last year's production with him versus without him will speak very much to that, right? I mean, the way he got rid of the ball in the anticipation that he showed, just that's unnatural, right? That's unnatural in a college quarterback for sure. Hell, it's unnatural sometimes in an NFL. I was watching the Thursday night football game between the Raiders and the freaking Chargers, which, in
that
different
was a great
circles.
game.
Oh, yeah.
Great game.
No, it wasn't. But in different circles, people thought, there were people on this planet that thought that maybe one of those two teams or both could compete for playoff spots this year. And they're both going to fire their coaches, right? Oakland
Well, the
already has.
Charger coach has already been fired.
Yeah, Oakland's already has. The Chargers are going to fire their coach too by the time
Well,
it's
he's
all said
already
and done.
fired. He got fired this week. Staley's been fired. He's done.
Really got fired?
Yeah, he got fired Thursday after the game or Friday morning. He got fired.
There you go. If he got
Gonzo.
fired, and for good cause, by the way, because
Yeah.
that team's got talent. And where I was going with this is that in that football game, there was two rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Two rookie quarterbacks.
Where'd they go to school?
Or actually, I take that back. The kid for the Chargers was not a rookie. He's just a first time starter. But for the Raiders was
O'Connell,
who last year was playing at Purdue.
Rutgers, Purdue. I thought he was at Rutgers. So go ahead.
And he was a walk-on. And he was a walk-on at Purdue. And here's the thing about this whole ordeal is this year he's in the NFL. He's in the NFL and he's been starting for the Raiders for about half a season almost. He's got I don't know, 5 starts or something.
Yeah.
And as I was watching him play, he's an NFL quarterback playing in the NFL. He doesn't have the anticipation that Connor Wigman does. He's an NFL quarterback. You could watch him, and he was late with half those throws, in spite of the fact that they scored 60 whatever number of points, right?
63.
He was pretty good.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that anticipation. He doesn't have it.
Oh. Yeah, that's a talent. It's a gift.
A special dude is, I guess, where I'm going with that.
I agree.
So Colin Klein, good hire. I think we both like him. I'm anxious to see what he does with that offense and specifically the use of the quarterback. If if I'm one of those tailbacks on campus, I'm pretty excited, right? I'm pretty damn excited because let's be honest, man. What he does a great job in the running game and what he does there, and those tailbacks are going to get are going to get to prove how good they are.
Well, in the offense will score points. He's proven that he can score points no matter what talent he has.
Yeah, and so that'll be the interesting part for us as Aggie fans is what is he going to do outside of the run game, right? What is he going to be able to, get the receivers involved, let the quarterback sort of, like I said, sling it a little bit and those types of things, and will those receivers, because ultimately that's also going to be a big part of this, right? We need to be able to bring in big time receivers, and big time receivers come to programs that score big time points and throw the ball around. That's
what receivers are you speaking of? I just want to know which ones are coming back.
Well, Thomas, Walker, Moose.
Moose is coming back?
So far, so good, man.
What about Stewart?
We don't know yet, but
he
also hadn't declared. So Stewart,
I didn't know about any of them.
You got to throw Stewart in there because he hadn't declared he hadn't gotten into the transfer portal yet.
It's a shame that Aniyah Smith is leaving because I think he'd be great in the system that he's bringing in. I think he would get so many touches in different ways. That's the kind of guy that this kind of offense is going to be built around, is a guy that can do so many things: catch the ball, run the ball.
Yeah, well, that's and so now it'll be interesting to see who takes that role, right? But it should be exciting for one of those guys, right? One of those receivers in that room it should be excited about that. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what he's going to do with regards to the passing game yet. I'm not sure how that's all going to play out. But the fact is, like what you said, he's been doing it at Kansas State and scoring a lot of points, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's probably going to have to score a lot of points next year with the guys from defense that are leaving. He's probably going to have to score a lot.
So let's talk about some of the
if we're bringing in a bunch of Old Dominion transfers and freaking UMass transfers and more Boston College transfers, we're going to have to score a lot of points. We're going to be the new LSU. We'll be the new LSU.
So let's get to that, right? Let's get to the players that are coming, the players that are going, because here's the thing. At this point, we know who the offense coordinator is. We're still waiting on DC. I don't understand how that hasn't come to play, but we're still waiting on a DC. We like our head coach. We like our offensive coordinator. At the end of the day, that's going to be part of it, right? And how good they both are, well, we have to wait and see because, what can they do with Aggie land talent, right? That's the big thing. But the other part is roster construction, right? And sort of this part of the story from Mike Elko seems to be, hey, I know I haven't hired a DC yet, but part of the reason is because I've got this window of transfer portal. I've got this window of recruiting, and we got to get that done. And so apparently he's been on the trail in recruiting. He's been visiting with Texas high school coaches and players and blah, blah, blah. So that's what he's doing.
Well, isn't it hard to bring in defensive players if you don't have a defensive coordinator?
You would think that the hire would have been number one priority, especially with his defensive background. He would have probably had a list of guys that he knew that he wanted to go after when he was a head coach. And maybe that list got shredded after this year. I don't know what happened, but you would think as a defensive guy that he'd have a pretty good idea of who he wants there. And at the end of the day, that didn't happen. And it didn't happen when he got hired, and it hasn't happened yet. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I think it's pretty easy what you need in the transfer portal on defense. You need D-line, linebackers, and defensive backs. That's it. All you need. You'll be fine because you lost.
All right, so here are some names. Here are some names.
Cooper, losing half the secondary.
going to the NFL, Anias, we talked about, right? And let me tell
you're
you,
talking offense and defense?
yeah, on both sides.
Okay.
Anias, who we've talked about, and like I love the kid. I think he's one of the best football players on the planet. He does everything and anything you ask him to. I think he will be missed. I think he will be missed.
He will.
Robinson. So Robinson's on this list, and 2 years ago or whatever, they had him listed as a number one, first round draft pick at guard, right?
Layden Robinson's going to the NFL or what?
Layden Robinson is going to the NFL. And
all right, that's good. So, that's a good one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. Good one.
So 2 years ago, they had him listed as basically a first round draft pick. 2 years later, after watching him play the last 2 years, I'm almost like, thank God he's leaving.
Maybe it's not so much late. Maybe it was just bad coaching. Maybe watch him turn into an all-pro player in the NFL pissed me off, but damn it, I hope he does.
No, and I wish him the best, man. And look, good for Layden.
Yeah.
I'll just say that he's not going to. It's not going to break my heart to not see him out on the field, and I don't think it's gonna do anything to deteriorate the product on the field either. So Layden Robinson, Damani Richardson, I assume is going.
He's out of eligibility anyway, isn't
he? I think so. Whatever. Jackson, McKinley Jackson is headed to the pros, right?
Yeah, he's one of my favorite players.
Yeah, I love that guy. I think he's going to be missed more than most of the people on this list. To be honest with you, as far as production wise and what he does on the field, I think he's going to be maybe one of the hardest guys to replace here. And then a guy that, look, we have been all over all year long. Last year, about this guy and his ability and everything else. But our boy Coop, who was named an All-American this year.
Yeah.
And he's going pro. And look, he should, by the way, even whatever eligibility he's got to go and take this opportunity to be a first-round draft pick. Thank goodness maybe we have an Aggie actually drafted in the first round around here. Love that. Cooper.
Yeah. Piper has him like the top outside linebacker on the board or something like that.
And you laughed at me and made fun of me. You made fun of me last year when I said Cooper may be the defensive player of the year in the SEC this year.
I don't know if I laughed at you.
You pretty much ridiculed me the entire year for saying such a thing.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
And I want to say a year later, I feel vindicated.
Oh, that's good.
I feel vindicated.
You feel vindicated a year later.
Yeah. I feel
like you go back and talk about all your guarantees that you had in the past.
You can shut the hell up now because
you're right about one thing and you want a pat on the back.
This guy knows exactly what he's talking about.
One thing right.
These eyes don't lie.
Those guys, I'll just keep throwing mud till something sticks.
Hey, look, that was a very bold statement, and this year it came through. So there you go. I love me some Cooper. I think the dude is absolutely insane, talent-wise. He can cover, he can rush, he plays the run. Just let him go. Keep it simple for the dude. Let him be athletic. He can do anything you want him to in a defense. I am a super, super fan, and I am so happy for the dude and what he has accomplished this year and the recognition that he's getting. And I think he should be flying to the NFL. I am happy for him.
I agree. He did a great job this year. He's a great player. Tons of talent. I think McKinley Jackson's right up there with him, to be honest, though. I really do. I think Cooper should take McKinley with him and be like, man, this guy, he opened holes for me. He took on 2 blockers at a time, freed me up. I mean, if it wasn't for Jackson and those big guys up front doing that.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I mean, and McKinley's going to be one of those guys that's going to be in the league for a long time, I think, and teams are going to appreciate the hell out of him. But he's never going to get the super pub, right? Because he's not going to be the sack guy. He's going to be the guy that just does the dirty work, right?
Exactly.
Which, by the way, is a guy that defenses need. I love McKinley. And
all right,
so
who else you got?
those are the guys leaving to the NFL. There's quite a few other guys also in the transfer portal. Some names of consequence here. LT Overton.
Yeah.
Heading on out. Fidel
Well, he
Diggs.
played out of position the whole time he was here. That dumbass Dirk had him playing freaking pass. He didn't get to use his talents to get after the quarterback like Cooper did because Durkin had him back in pass coverage the whole damn time. Drove me nuts. But hey, what do I know?
Don't blame him. Whatever. LT and his brother is going with him. The brother that got recruited because of LT. Fidel Diggs is on his way. I think that's some people are going to sort of brush that aside. I think it's a big loss. I thought Fidel was one of our best defenders this year when he was healthy.
Yeah, I agree.
Chappelle, you know, Corey, how much I think about this dude.
I know. I can't believe he's leaving. I didn't think they
don't
played him right
understand
this
why
year
he's
either.
leaving a team. I don't understand why he's leaving a team where he is the starting number one defensive back on the field. He's the guy. And by the way, the head coach that just got hired, so this is interesting, is the guy that recruited me, right?
Yeah, I know. And Chappelle, I think, would have been the next Antonio Johnson in that system that Elko wants to run. He would have been playing downfield, downhill, getting after the quarterback like he did his freshman year. All that talent he has. I think it would have been great.
Yeah, it is an interesting fact that guys like Diggs and Chappelle, recruited by Elko, are two of the first guys to go.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what that means, but it's not a good thing.
No.
Two starters on your defense that are going to be playing college football somewhere else next year that were recruited by the guy that just got hired as your head coach.
Well, we don't know that for sure. I mean, that might come back.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. It could come back. And another guy on that list, by the way, is Deuce Harmon. Deuce Harmon, a guy that by the end of the season, look, early in the season, I told you, once again, this is like the deal on Cooper, right? I told you, Deuce Harmon is a player. He's going to get some time. And all it took was several injuries and half a season.
Yeah.
But once he got on the field, I'll be honest with you, I actually thought he was one of the corners that played best for us, for the Aggies. I thought he played better than Dewberry. I thought he played better than the freshmen that are going to be our corners next year. I thought he was one of our best guys out there on the outside. And honestly, I think after the experience that he got, I think it is a loss for us. So Deuce Harmon, another guy to add to that list.
There you
go. Gilbert is, and he's committed to LSU already, is what I'm hearing. So look, LSU can use as many players as they could possibly get. So it is what it is on that defensive side of the ball. But he's a good player, man. I was always a big fan of what he did on the field. I thought, he ended up losing his job this year because of a lot of talented young players on that field. But look, that's a depth thing that I don't know if he'd have been starting anyway, but it definitely, he's a good player.
Right. I agree.
On the other side of the ball, Chase Basantis.
Did you say Walter Nolan?
Oh, Walter Nolan. Defensively. Probably the best player in the portal, but I'm not sure that he's officially entered. Has he officially entered? I guess so.
Yeah, he's officially entered.
And so Walter Nolan
making visits to like Ole Miss.
Yeah, Walter, man, that's a big loss, right? Especially because of the fact that we're losing McKinley too, right? And so all of a sudden you got two inside presences.
Well, we had a lot of depth at D line, but not so much now.
Yeah, and it's not over.
No, it's not.
It's not over. But Walter Nolan's a big one. I'm really hopeful. I'm really hopeful that our boys in the NIL club go ahead and dish out some real hard cash on that one, and we can bring old Walter back. That'd be great.
Yep.
Look, the middle of our defense is basically gone, right? Your two defensive tackles, your middle linebacker, and your safety, starting safety at the beginning of the year,
and your cornerbacks,
and also both of your starting quarterbacks at the end of the year. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That's all we need is D-line, linebackers,
yeah, and your starting defensive end,
fine.
And your starting defensive end. So
yes, we'll be fine. We're right there.
Let me. This is off the top of my head, though. So, mind you.
Go ahead.
Defensive line wise, we still have Shamar Turner, who, by the way, pretty darn good this year.
Yeah.
Stewart.
Yeah.
Pretty darn good. Yeah.
Yeah.
We still have Malik Silla.
Do we?
Very highly rated. Yeah, we do.
Okay.
By the way, Brunlow Dindy. Yeah.
Did he even play this year?
Not much. Not much.
Okay.
But 5-star guy, though. 5-star guy.
Who's the other big guy? Regis?
Rakes.
Rakes is back again next year?
I think so.
Did he play this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you think he didn't?
I don't remember seeing him on the field that much.
And this is only a handful so far, but we still got a lot of. I guess
got York. You got York coming back at linebacker. Who's your other linebacker? Other Harris?
Is it going to be Harris? That's a good question. I mean,
yeah,
Lee.
You got all the transfers still coming back in the defensive backfield, I guess.
We just brought in the starting cornerback for Kansas State. And he's a player. He's a player.
Okay.
People should be more excited about him than they were about Grimes last year. And you know how excited people were about Grimes.
Well, the guy that never saw the field? I don't think he played at all last year.
Yeah. The guy that came from the worst secondary in the country that people were excited.
Well, I heard we got a really good player from Old Dominion, or might be getting one. And I heard we might be getting a good player from UMass. There's a couple players from Florida International, and
are you just naming the worst teams, the worst football teams in the entire country right now? Is that what you're doing?
Well, no, but I think the Old Dominion and UMass is a fact, but the other ones I'm pretty sure we're in the running for those.
It's always entertaining to me because you listen to your boys over at Texas, old Nuno and Billy and Obi, and they're always like so excited about these transfers, right? Like these guys.
Oh no, I love it.
Oh, this is the best player ever, and from Old Dominion, yes, that's who we're talking about.
Well, hell, we got like 3 or 4 players off a crappy Boston College team.
Last year, they got excited about the offensive lineman that didn't start at Boston College, so that's always a good thing. So look, another couple of guys on the offensive side, Besantis, we talked about. Look, that's a big one. That's a freshman who started basically all year for you at right tackle. The fact that he's leaving to me is absolutely ridiculous. I don't get that. But Besantis, that's a big loss. Remington on the offensive line as well. So that's 2 offensive linemen. And I know people are like, well, Remington was behind Foster at center, yada, yada. Look, that's the kind of guy that you want ready to take over the moment Foster decides to leave, which, by the way, could be tomorrow. And I wouldn't shed one tear if he did.
Yeah.
But Remington, I thought, was a good ball player. So people won't give that much thought, but I think that is a big loss. Especially, like I said, with Besantis as well. That's multiple pieces on that offensive line. Cottrell, who's committed already to Kentucky at the receiver spot, is a guy. Jake Johnson followed his brother, along with obviously his brother at quarterback as well. Those guys are both losses. right?
Right.
So, I mean, what are your thoughts?
I think they're all losses. I mean, I think it all stems back to Robinson. That's not doing him right, and I think there's gonna be more players to leave here sooner than later. I think there's gonna be more guys enter the portal. But that's just the world we live in now. It just sucks. And I'm hoping Elko learns how to play the portal game like Ole Miss has and these other teams, Oklahoma, USC. These teams are competitive every year because they're bringing in players that weren't happy at other places. That's just what we're living. It sucks to say it. Next year we could go 12-0 and we're going to lose players that we're going to be like, why is that guy leaving?
Everybody
Never know.
loses. Everybody loses.
Yeah. Yeah.
And look, and you look at a team like Florida State this year, and both of their star wide receivers, their star defensive end, all those guys are transfer guys, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Go look at the teams in the championship game. I mean, Penix is a quarterback, right? At Michigan, he's been there, and at Alabama, he's been there.
If you look at the last few Heisman trophies, look where they've come from. They've all been transfers. Even everybody's
look at the people that competed for the Heisman. It was Penix, Bo Nix, and Jalen Daniels, right? All three of them transfers.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's just the nature of the beast now. That's what it is. It sucks to say it, but
all right. So
get used to it.
Hey, look, we're gonna get into this. We got a long off season. We're gonna talk a ton about everything happening. Obviously, we've got the schedule came out. We haven't even touched on that, but we're getting here towards the end of this episode. I want to get your last take here. I want to get your last take on current status, man. Just like overall where we're at, the coaching hire, the players. Where are you at? Is this?
I like the coaching hire. I don't like all the decisions. I don't like the Robinson decision at all. I don't like the fact that they didn't offer him to DC. I don't like the fact that they left him on after he said he was going to Syracuse. I don't like that at all. I think it makes A&M look really bad. I think we're losing really good players because of it. For next year, as of right now, I'm excited because Jimbo's not there. I'm excited to see our offense. I'm nervous to see our defense. I think our scales are going to shift. I think we're going to be more of Elko's a defensive coach.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got it. Mike Elko, bro. That's your guy.
Yeah, but you look at the talent we lost and I don't see what's coming in. I haven't seen. I mean, I'm just waiting. It's like I'm a hurry up and wait kind of guy. Hey, let's hurry up and wait. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So what are we going to get? I don't know. I mean, I think the program's going in the right direction, getting rid of Jimbo. But next year, I don't know what to expect.
This is what I'm going to say. And look, there's a lot that has to happen for sure. But I like the fact that there is some excitement around this program now. There is talk. People are back to talking about Texas A&M football. And that's a good thing. Is Mike Elko going to be the guy that brings us a national championship? I don't know. Maybe not. But
maybe.
Getting Colin Klein here, who turned down Penn State for the offensive coordinator job right before that, by the way. I think that already that's a good thing, right? And like you said, getting out from underneath the Jimbo situation. Here's the other part that I'm going to say, and this is not, this is not a threat or any kind of sort of like throwing down the hammer or whatever. But Mike Elko better be good year number one. He better be good year number one. Game number one is against Notre Dame at home. Yeah. And the last game of the season is against the University of Texas for the first time in 13 years or something, right?
Yeah.
And so you better
Let's just hope that's not the last game.
You better be good, because if you're not, and this program shows up at 6-6, 7-5 next year, and the University of Texas has gone back-to-back seasons going to the playoffs, then you're going to get left in the freaking dust. You're going to get left in the freaking dust, and this program is going to suffer. And it's going to take a freaking massive, massive job to get it out from underneath Texas again.
Yep.
So, Mike Elko, I hope you knew what you were signing up for, but your job is, whether you're good here at A&M or not ever, is going to be known next year. Next year, 2024. It's coming.
All right, buddy. I got to run.
All right, big dog.
I'll holler at you later.
Later, bud.